nothing like patrolling the moon and shooting some bad guys to put me in a good mood. This is Moon Patrol for the Atari 2600. And you have to face a variety of obstacles in this game, like craters and rocks, enemy spaceships and tanks and landmines. And I like the little moon buggy. It looks like it has feet, but I think those are actually supposed to be wheels or a tank tread. Anyway, it's pretty cool. I played this game as a kid. In fact, this is one of my favorites, and I really like this game. But I remember it having a soundtrack, like a little catchy beat that would play when you were driving your moon buggy along the lunar surface. But this game didn't have a soundtrack, so maybe I'm remembering the arcade version. I don't think they had an Atari 7800 version of this game, but when you look at Moon Patrol, there's a lot of different elements going on in one very simple, fun package here. You have a two-dimensional side-scrolling action game mixed with a two-dimensional side-scrolling horizontal shoot-'em-up mixed with a vertical shooting game like Space Invaders. It's all a lot of fun, and Moon Patrol is one of my favorite video games on the Atari 2600. It's far from perfect because it turns into a game of memorization because you have to jump fairly early to get over the obstacles and land exactly where you need to be. And it doesn't really give you enough time to react to something that you see necessarily, whether or not you're shooting at some bad guys in the air. So you have to basically memorize where the craters and the rocks are because there's no margin for error. You can't just get a fender bender in your Moon Patrol buggy. Like, if you hit the edge of a crater, you just blow the up. And that sucks. I guess I never understood why you couldn't at least graze the boulders or just nick the end of one of those craters and then just damage your Moon Patrol buggy. But I think the designer's logic was that if you got a flat tire on the moon, that you'd die. And just dying a horrible, slow, painful death on the moon would make for a very boring video game. It might make a better video game than E.T. on the Atari 2600, but that's not saying much. So every time you see the Moon Patrol buggy explode into pixelated flames, know that that's a metaphor for a slow, horrible death without water or food. So, like 2 days, maybe, is what it would take to kill you. If you had a fender bender on the moon, AAA couldn't get to you. Now, as a classic Game Room fan, we know you'd have that Moon Patrol buggy stocked with a good case of beer, a couple bags of potato chips, maybe an iPod loaded with some episodes of Voltron or the Thundercats. You'd last at least a week before you got bored and died. One of the things that separates Moon Patrol from other games on the Atari 2600 is that you can shoot rapidly into the air. So it's not like Galaxian or something where you can only have one shot firing at one time. So it's like you can machine gun the bad guys in the air, and you can only shoot once at a time in front of you. We'll see what the instruction manual says. Maybe it gives some insight into why this thing is such a weak-ass moon buggy. As a moon buggy driver, I wonder if they have a union. Your objective is to travel across the surface of the moon as quickly as you can. The manual doesn't tell you why you're driving so quickly along the surface of the moon, but I've already figured that out. It's because in 1983, before the days of TiVo and DVRs, if you wanted to catch the A-Team, you had to get home on time. You were out doing some work on the surface of the moon, maybe working with the moisture evaporators. The A-Team is on in a few minutes. You've got to get home, no matter what the cost. Because if you miss the first 5 minutes of the A-Team, You've missed the whole episode. Like, why does Faceman look just like Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica? Why is the guy from Breakfast at Tiffany's the leader of the A-Team? Why is Ensign Barclay out of the holodeck? And why did Mr. T just throw somebody through a plate glass window? Seriously, he did that in every episode, and it never got old.